Good morning, I'm Peggy Kelly, and I'm here today with Superintendent of the Santa Paula Unified School District, Dr. Ed Cora. It's our education update, and it's Friday, February 12th. Good morning, Dr. Cora, how are you?
Good, Peggy. Thank you very much for having me on, as always. I appreciate the time with you.
Absolutely. And speaking about our visit today and the information you're going to give to the community, we're going to have an announcement at the end. So, we'll wait and talk about that at the end, but it's a big announcement and means a lot to the district. But anyway, so let's start with facilities update. I know you had a a school board meeting the other night, and you had a facilities update.
Yes, as a matter of fact, a couple different things. The board had a board study session on Saturday, January 23rd. It was a long 6 hours. We covered a ton of information. But what I told the board was Mr. Doug Henning, our facilities and construction manager, each board meeting, we have 2 board meetings a month. The first board meeting of the month is it's the second Wednesday of the month. Mr. Doug Henning will be giving an update on projects that have happened, that are currently going on, and that are kind of upcoming. So he gave an update. I'm not going to go through the long list, but it's just any citizen from Santa Paula can watch the first board meeting and you'll see Mr. Henning come on and he'll give an update. But we have some things going on at the high school, portico, getting fixed electrical work for air conditioning, the McMahon gym. We're talking about what do we do at the pool.
Oh, the
We're looking at modernization of the 600 building for CTE program. And we're also looking for the band program to have a bigger facility as well. So all of that was brought up. We finished up painting the inside and outside of Barbara Webster. If you have not seen it lately, please drive by. It looks beautiful. And we're making plans for the other schools to receive painting as well. So I want to say thank you very much to our citizens of Santa Paula for passing measures P and Q, because these are the funds being used to take care of this work. And there's a lot of other stuff as well, but it was a nice update from Doug, Mr. Henning.
Well, that's great. And I know the schools have been looking, and it's so important to have an attractive school for students. Makes them feel valued, and maybe they're doing distance learning now. And actually, why don't we just go ahead and segue into what's going on as far as with COVID? And I know the numbers are decreasing. And do we have any plan yet for reopening?
We are waiting to receive Governor Newsom's revised plan for reopening today, Friday. We met as county superintendents yesterday with some representatives from his office. And our big push was, how do we get vaccines that we need here to Ventura County? So we pushed. We don't know what it's going to do, meaning our push, how important it is, what type of priority they're going to give us. But the hope is that we get more vaccines here in Ventura County. Ventura County has to finish phase 1A because educators are in phase 1B. As soon as they finish 1A, we will start 1B. And all of the educators will be able to start getting those vaccinations done. Here in Santa Paula, coming closer to home, our goal has always been to cautiously and safely reopen our schools under the guidelines of Ventura County Public Health Department. The numbers are coming down. We are collaborating closely with our teachers union and our classified union to again open safely and cautiously for students and for staff at the same time. So I am being optimistic that the numbers will continue to drop. We'll get the vaccinations and we can slowly open up with our small groups first, then our lower grades. And I'm not sure what's going to happen at the middle school and high school because they have different parameters and different metrics for the older students. But we'll continue to work on getting things open.
Do you foresee maybe the hybrid where do you feel that's probably going to, or possibly could be the way we're going to start reopening, is having a couple of days in, a couple of days out with the distance learning?
Absolutely. We will have Mondays will be distance learning for all. When we get to the point when we get to hybrid, we will have Mondays as distance learning for all students. Then we'll have Tuesdays and Thursdays for, like, let's say group A, and then Wednesdays and Fridays group B. So there's a schedule set up that's been shared with parents, but we will resend that information. And parents will also have the choice of, do they send them or do they keep them at home? Yes. So that will be a choice for parents depending on their comfort level. I will say this, on our end, we are doing everything that we can, everything that we've been asked to do in regards to safety at school sites. So we'll be checking temperatures, we'll be cleaning, disinfecting on a regular basis, hand sanitizer, social distancing, all of that stuff. We'll have masks for anybody who doesn't have them.
Mhm.
Every school has a safety plan. So we have everything ready to go. It's just a matter of the metrics and working it out with our teachers and with our classified employees. Again, safely, cautiously opening up underneath the guidelines of Ventura County Public Health Department.
Okay, that's wonderful. Yeah, and a lot of people are, they want their children back at school, but they're still a little cautious, and I think that's a wonderful way to approach it. I know there's been an issue with there's a rise in depression and emotional issues and things like that with students, with COVID, and with adults too. But what's going on with your mental health counseling?
So we have two absolutely phenomenal mental health counselors. I wish I could clone them, Rachel Forbes and Jason Claros. But what ends up happening is, as parents and students contact the counselors at the school, those with the highest needs then get sent on, as a car goes flying by, those get sent on to our mental health counselors, and they shared information with the board on Wednesday evening, and their caseloads are extremely high. However, they are doing a wonderful job. And again, I wish we can clone them. And again, the school counselors do what they can, and those where they need assistance with, they send on to Mr. Claros and Mrs. Forbes.
Okay, and then eventually maybe the county.
Possibly if needed.
Mhm.
Possibly if needed.
Okay, if needed. Yeah, and that's wonderful. And I wanted to bring up something too the other day that I spoke to your food specialist, Suzanne, and also Kevin was in on the conversation. And I'd like to mention, just for the audience until they read the story, that the district has served over 600,000 lunches, and actually breakfast, lunch, enhanced snack, as they call a light dinner, over 600,000 since March. And it's free to everybody, and as long as the children under 18 in the household, and they don't even have to be students in the district. So, that's a wonderful program, and I'm very proud that the district stepped up like that.
Thanks for saying that, Peggy, because Ms. Stamp, who's our Director of Child Nutrition Services, and her staff, they've been frontline workers since last March. They've been doing that, serving the meals in the parking lots to the cars all the way since March. They've done a phenomenal job, and I thank them greatly for the work they've done.
Yes, and what's just particularly impressive too is what Susan said. They were doing that at the height of the fear about COVID, when people really knew nothing about COVID, when they weren't aware how easy it might be to catch. I mean, and of course everybody was masked and taking precautions, but still it was more of an unknown then, and
Absolutely.
a very scary one. Now, and of course, this program too is grant funded, so it doesn't cost the district anything. So I wanted to point that out, which brings us to the budget. How is the budget going?
Well, we have a couple different things. One, we have a district budget advisory committee that we developed, and that committee has 2 school board members, 2 cabinet members, 2 principals, 2 teachers, 2 classified staff, and 2 community members, so a total of 12. And School Services of California is facilitating the discussions. We had 1 meeting. Our second meeting is coming up next week. And the goal is for that group to come up with recommendations to give to me, to present to the board on how we can reach a balanced budget moving forward. So the governor put out his proposed budget in January. It looks really good. But for those who know the budget cycle, the governor puts out the proposed budget in January. In May, they come back with what's called a May revise. They adjust those numbers. Either the numbers they put out in January are dead on, or they come in less, or they come in higher. And then the full budget gets presented and passed, hopefully by the legislature on July 1. So right now, if the budget stays as was presented in January, all districts in California will feel a relief receiving funds from state, and there's also federal money coming in too, mostly because of COVID. But the state of California is projected to do much better than they thought with revenues coming in at the state level. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed, and I hope everybody else does too, because again, if it stays the way it is, we'll be in good shape for next year. Because remember, we're in a declining enrollment. Right. And as we keep losing students, funding continues to decline because money comes with students. So if again, the budget stays as was presented, we'll be in good shape for next year, and we'll make adjustments for the 22-23 school year then.
And then that way you make adjustments depending on what your enrollment is. What's the enrollment loss been over the last, let's say, 5 years, 2 years, whenever it was the sharpest?
We were losing about 1%. I believe last year was 2%, and right now we sit this year at 2.7% loss.
That's a lot.
And I will say this, if anybody's wondering, why is it happening in Santa Paula? The vast majority of California districts are losing students. There's a lot of people leaving the state for a lot of different reasons, but so it's not just Santa Paula, but we are doing what we can to try and keep the students and also recruit new students as well.
Yes, and and a lot of people that are leaving the state have young children, and and very often they're doing it for financial reasons, and people are having less children too. There's
Absolutely.
a decline in the birth rate, so well, that's really something. But
and Peggy, very quickly, I'd like to put a plug in right now to, if anybody's watching this who's thinking about, we are doing, in my opinion, an excellent job with our distance learning. This is the best we can do with what we have under the circumstances. And I know when we go into hybrid, as I mentioned earlier, safety is the #1 priority. And so if they're contemplating, give us a try. I think they'll be happy. We're doing a great job with our kids.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. Now we've got an announcement that basically I'm happy for you, and I'm sad for the district, and sad for me, and everything like that. But you're going to retire.
Peggy, I have put in, this is my 37th year in education. I look younger than I really am. I have shortchanged my family for a long time. Over the last 5 years, I worked on my doctorate program for 3 years. Working through this whole COVID at home, here at work, has been extremely difficult. And I've spoken to a good number of superintendents who have retired, and I got some advice from them. And what's important, I want to say something else too. I think about my father, who passed away 6 years ago at the age of 75. And he always said to me, life is too short and family needs to be your #1 priority. And I've shortchanged my family for a long, long time. While I will miss the staff, the parents, and probably most importantly, the students here in Santa Paula and community members, I have to put my family first. And I turned 60 in October. So again, I'm a lot older than I look, but I do want to take this opportunity to say thank you to the former board, meaning the board that hired me, the new board, staff, students, parents, everyone. I will be working through June, so I'm here for another 4 months, and I have a lot of stuff to take care of before I leave. I'm not going to be bored, that's for sure, but I just want to say thank you to everyone. This is a beautiful city with beautiful people, and again, I thank everyone for everything that they've done and continue to do for our kids.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, good luck to you. And I'm sure we'll have some of these talks with the community before you actually leave. I know it's all in the board's hands to do a replacement, and I imagine they'll be launching a search pretty soon, a recruitment as they call it.
Absolutely. They'll be finding, if they decide, it's the board's decision whether they decide to go with a search firm. Most districts do, because it's a lot of work and the board members don't have the time to do that. But if they decide to choose a search firm, the search firm will do all the work, and the search firm's job is to get input from teachers, classified administrators, parents, the community. So there's a lot of work that'll happen over the next couple of months, but that will be to select my successor, and I know they'll find a great replacement.
That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Peggy.
Dr. Ed Cora, he's the superintendent of the Santa Paula Unified School District, and we're happy he joined us today. You can see this interview on cable channel 10, that's Spectrum Cable Channel 10, or at kadytv.com, kadytv.com. And I'm Peggy Kelly, and unlike Dr. Cora, I'm younger than I look. So there you go, figure that one out. So, so once again, everybody have a wonderful weekend. Be sure to take care and follow your COVID guidelines. Dr. Cora, thank you once again, and thanks for all your service to the district. And everybody, be sure to read your Mighty Santa Paula Times. But anyway, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Peggy.